Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is HD Starcraft, and I'm coming back at you guys with Game 2 here from the exhibition set of matches. At least I'm told it was an exhibition set of matches, but then at the end of the last game I saw Artosis was in the game, so maybe this was from a tournament or something. I really don't know, but it was sent to my email box. And I was told that it was an exhibition set of matches. So anyways, we are going to go ahead and go right into this cast here. And it is, of course, Liquid Taeja as the blue Terran player in the bottom right-hand corner of the map. And his opponent is, of course, going to be none other than the red Protoss SKT1 Rain. Once again, really talented Protoss player who, you know, he's been playing in the GSL. Been making a name for himself out there, and this is actually the first time I've ever gotten a chance to cast him. Actually, second time, because the first time was the last game. And so far, been pretty impressed with his skill level. Obviously, a very high level Protoss, and almost taking out Taeja in his own type of game. You know, a late game. Well, it wasn't super late or anything, but it was a decent game, 20 minutes Terran versus Protoss, and I actually felt like Rain was kind of holding his own for a second there, and then everything just fell apart. Excuse me, in the middle of the map, he got sniped, his Templars got sniped, and then his army just got completely crushed. And for a moment, you know, in that game, he was being really clever. You know, the proxy Stargate, I don't know about that. Didn't really work out too well. But the hallucinated Colossus to kind of, you know, make his army, you know, like blowfish status. You know, he's a blowfish. He blew himself up, made himself look a little bit more intimidating. Was working out pretty well for him. But we'll see what happens here in game 2. This is, of course. Once again, as I said before, I think it's an exhibition matchup, but I could be wrong. Maybe it's from one of the main tournaments that have been going on right now, WCS or whatnot. And anyways, Taeja here in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, Whirlwind. It is a big-time map. And Rain here is actually scouted, obviously, in all four corners because you got to check all four on a map like this. You can spawn in any location. And since they have not spawned cross-spawn, you know, we might see a lot of a little bit more early game aggression. Typically, you know, you can see Terran medevacs getting used, early mothership core for scouting very quickly. You can see a lot of ridiculous things when it's not necessarily cross spawn because the air distance between the two maps, between the two bases, I should say, are, you know, they're traversable. And because of that, I think we might see a little bit of an aggression here from Taeja, maybe some medevac dropping over the Protoss base. And here comes the first unit that can be used in an aggressive way. It is the mothership core. And actually being rallied over to the natural right now. I guess Rain here, you know, a little concerned maybe about the possibility of an early attack, but I think those concerns are going to be dissipated as soon as he sees the bunker. And now that Mothership Core has changed its flight plan, and now it's going to fly over to the Terran Natural. So on its way over from the Protoss main base right now, and it is carrying with itself a host of armaments, although none of them can actually be used except for its repulsor cannon. And we'll see what it can get done here. You know, the thing about the Mothership Core is it's not really a big-time harasser, but it is nice for scouting. And right now, it looks like those 3 Marines are going to try to do their very best to keep the core from scouting into the main base. And you know, it is a little annoying, I think, in this particular configuration, because if Rain wants to get in the main base, he is gonna have to fly this Mothership Core around the north here and then bring it in here to figure out what's going on. And I think it's probably worth doing, but he's flying the Mothership Core back home right now. I don't know why. As he kills off an SCV at the front door. And he's actually going for a pretty quick forge here. Could see some early upgrades from Rain. But yeah, like I said, I'm still a little surprised that Taeja did not decide, Rain did not decide to go ahead and send this Mothership Core out and figure out what's going on. You know, figure out what's going on inside the Terran main base and see what exactly is coming for you. But the thing about Taeja is he rarely differs from, you know, his play style. Sometimes you'll see him use Widow Mines, obviously, but his core, his staple, as our most good Terrans, is, you know, bio. And he is getting those, you know, Marines ready for war. In fact, he's pumping them out 3 at a time right now from the barracks. And he's got Stim Pack on the way right there as well. So he is going to be making a lot of Marines this game, and no doubt going to see Marauders coming out and Medivacs as well. And like I said at the very beginning of this broadcast, I think we're going to see some Medivacs being used here in the early goings. Try to get some Medivacs dropped off into the Protoss main base. In fact, we already have a Comsat coming down here to see what's going on over there, see if the LZ is clear, and factory now on the way. So I think a quick starport here wouldn't be out of the question. And whoa, Taeja going for a missile turret at the front door. You can never be too safe. And the thing about this missile turret, I guess Taeja here thinks that his opponent is going to go Dark Templar, and that's why he's built a turret at the front door, just to be safe rather than start. I mean, you could just straight up lose if DT is coming. You don't have a form of detection. So I think Taeja here, he probably scanned the main base and he was like, why is it so sparse? Where's all your buildings? And so when you see something like that, it raises up a couple of questions, and it starts to make you a little bit more concerned. So he is going to be safe here, and he's going to try to go for missile turret. Actually, the missile turret pays off for itself. I think it killed off that observer, unless I'm just totally, I don't know what just happened. I think an observer just died. So I don't know. Another unit just died over here. It looks like an observer did die. It's in here. Maybe it flew over into the main. I just didn't see it. So it did end up dying. The observer has gone down. Rain now bringing over his warp prism. And this is interesting. I didn't expect him to go for Warp Prism, but there you have it. Warp Prism on the way. He's going to try to fly it into the main base here. And he could actually deploy it right here and warp units right here, but he isn't going to deploy it over here at the pocket expansion and load it with Zealots first, which is pretty clever. You know, have the Zealots ready to go and let the warp cycle, recycle back at home so that you can warp out additional units on the second wave. And that's, I think, what Rain is going to go for here, although a big attack is coming from Taeja. A lot of troops now. This is actually a pretty good spot for Rain because there aren't going to be any Marines back at home defending. And if you can bring these Zealots in here, you could certainly look to do a lot of damage. One Marine also attacking this Nexus over here at the top left-hand corner. Observer here keeping tabs on the Terran army's troop movements. And the Zealots have been deposited inside the Terran main base. And the Zealots now starting to go to work. A couple of SCVs have already gone down. Some reinforcements are arriving, of course, out of the barracks, which is going to help defend against these Zealots. But a lot of SCVs have gone down already. This one SCV by itself has gotten 6 or 7 SCV kills already. Very nice job right there from Rain. And Rain here has a couple of Colossus out in the middle of the map, but they are going to get surrounded by 2 different armies. Force is coming out as well. Colossus have to remain alive here. This is absolutely crucial, but the Colossus get taken out, and Taeja with 2 Colossus kills right there. Really just paying back Taeja, or paying back Rain for killing off his SCVs. And now Taeja with these 1-1, I should actually say just 1-0 Marines, are going to take out a Nexus as well. And Taeja puts his foot down right on Rain, and now Rain is really in a lot of trouble. I mean, I thought for a second there maybe Rain was going to be able to, get a little momentum going here in game 2, but not the fact. And now he's going to have to defend. He's got the Mothership Core using Overcharge on this Nexus, and a Colossus up here with Extended Thermal Lance helping defend as well. But I think his defense is pretty sparse. He needs more reinforcements. Here comes some Stalkers. Force Field's also being used as well, and it looks like Rain might just be able to defend here, using the Photon Overcharged Nexus as well. And that Colossus trying to stay alive. It will stay alive. No, the Medevac is gonna come over to the high ground to kill off the Colossus. Wow, and Taeja right there really bringing down the hammer, says I want that Colossus dead, but in the meantime, Rain kills off more SCVs, bringing the Warp Prism back into the mineral line, and kills off up to 12 workers now. 12 SCVs in total have gone down, and both players actually doing quite a bit of damage to the other player. But if you look at the units lost tab, you can see that the Protoss has lost considerably more than the Terran has. Rain has lost Colossus here, whereas Taeja has really only lost SCVs. So, the burden of loss, I think, remains on the red player, the Protoss player Rain, and he is going to have to figure out a way to get back in this game. He is going to go for a Dark Shrine after all, which is kind of interesting. I mean, you would think, after seeing a missile turret at the front, you would not go for DTs, but there you have it. DTs are coming on the way. Now, this expansion over here, the pocket expansion, is not covered by any form of detection, so if DTs were to make their way over there, they could do a lot of damage. In fact, there is a Dark Templar in this Warp Prism, and this Warp Prism now under attack in the skies from that Viking. Some Marines also stimming up. Will the DT be able to come out? It is going to be able to get out, and the Warp Prism is finally going to go down, but not before the DT is unloaded, and it has made its way right into the mineral line. It's going to start to hack and slash these SCVs, but in the meantime, Taeja runs his way through the front door of the Protoss player. What the hell is going on? And he is forced to get out of there. He was just actually cornered there. Factory is going to go down. DT is taken out inside the mineral line, but more Zealots attacking the pocket expansion here. That Zealot getting quite a few kills on 23 SCVs have gone down this game to 0 probes. And you know, where Rain is winning in the economy department, he is sorely losing in the army department. Yeah, he's getting a lot of kills of the enemy workers, but he's losing Colossus, he's losing his army. And so it is a very interesting opening here to this second game, this Terran versus Protoss, and I'm kind of curious how things are going to play out. Another DT is making its way over. There is a missile turret coming up right now, but they will not be up in time. There's another missile turret back here at the natural expansion. This DT is going to be sniffed out by the missile turret. Unless it can get out of missile turret range, Comsat comes down as well. That DT gets picked off before it could make its way over to the soft underbelly of the Terran main base. And now that this secondary missile turret is up, I find it very unlikely that Rain will be able to get any more DTs to do any more real significant damage. And now the problem becomes, you know, has Rain teched up too much into these little, you know, different branches, Dark Templar, Colossus, and he doesn't really have a real standing army. That's the big deal. And now he's actually under attack from two different angles. Looks like he will save the expansion in the main base, or I should say the main base, but he will not be able to save the expansion at the exterior here, and that third expo will go down, forcing Rain to drop yet another Nexus. And a great snipe right there from Taeja, who realizes one of the keys to victory in Starcraft, you know, as any good player should, is to limit your opponent's expansions. Less money for them means a better chance for you to win. And Taeja here really capitalizing on that, killing off that Nexus. And that's kind of, I guess, one of the flaws of being Protoss is you can't heal your Nexus up very quickly. Like Zerg, they can transfuse it, Terran can quickly repair it, but Protoss, once they lose its actual health, you can't regenerate permanent lost health to a building. And shields regenerate rather slowly as well. So, you know, I don't know why I kind of brought that up, but I guess what I'm trying to say is Protoss structures they can be a little bit more easily killable than, say, like a Terran structure. You know, you can't just surround it with a bunch of probes and keep it alive like a Terran can. So, anyways, Taeja here looking really good. Once again, no surprise there. He is the master of late-game Starcraft, and he is at 178 supply, even though he lost a large amount of workers to start this game. I mean, he lost like 25 workers right there. That is, you know, that's a lot of money. But he's been able to stand up here and stay strong against Rain. But Rain isn't out of this game. He's actually got a decent army here. He's got a couple of Colossus, some Templars mixed in there as well, I believe. Yeah, 6 Templar actually in total. So if he can get a couple of good storms, feedbacks, then he'll be in a pretty good position. We do have a couple of pylons coming up here. Not sure what Rain wants to do with that. But this main army is growing in size for both players here. In fact, Taeja nearing max. A couple of Templars here placed in interesting positions. They do have high ground, which is great. And if you know, a Ghost were to run up here, Rain could easily feed back from behind the cover of these rocks and, of course, the cover of the high ground. And that's a pretty good strategy there. If you've got the high ground, it's a significant advantage in war. +3/+3 now finishing up for the Terran army. +3 has been finished for armor, but only 1 weapons for the Protoss, and he needs to get more weapons upgrades going. +2 now on the way. Some Zealots warping up over here, and here comes Taeja. Once again, remember, the Protoss is going to have the high ground here, and he's going to bring those Templars in. Oh, but the Medevac's revealing high ground and disabling it, and that actually is one way to take out the high ground effect, is just have some flying units over there, and they will see the high ground for you. So those Ghosts able to take out the Templar, and +3/+3 now finishing up for the Terran army. So this is a really big window of opportunity for Taeja here to make an attack and to do some serious damage. I mean, when you have 3/3, you know, and your opponent's only got 2/3, it's a big advantage. And we have a couple of Zealots here that are trying to destroy this bunker, but nope, not gonna happen. SCV's keeping it alive right there. And now Taeja, will he push? He's finished his upgrades. Personnel cloaking is on the way right now. And yeah, that cloaking is going to make them that much more difficult to deal with. And in fact, there are some observers here, but they're quickly sniffed out by Taeja. Really good comsats here and there. Noting where the observers are is absolutely key. And you can see this time Rain really has a lot of charge slots. I mean, look at this. He's got 30 charge slots ready to run into war. He's also going to bring the Templars in. Has to be careful about those ghosts. He does get some pretty good feedbacks, but some of the ghosts getting EMP'd as well. And more Templars running in, more feedbacks, EMPs going down. I always get confused between those two spellcasters, but two of the Templars are now deciding to join their hands in marriage. Two are better than one. United we stand, divided we fall. And Vikings here coming around, revealing the high ground once again. Those rocks have been destroyed, and it looks like Taeja gonna make his move now. Gonna try to take out this expansion. And will Rain be able to defend it or not? He needs to come up to the high ground. He's got a lot of charge lots, 30 charge lots in all. A couple of Colossus in his army as well, but he's forced to cancel off the Nexus, deciding it's better to just let the Nexus die rather than try to save it. And I think that was probably the right decision. Forget trying to expand towards the Terran, just expand away from him. And if you can get a couple of expos up here to the northwest, I think that would be a lot safer than trying to, you know, do battle against a Terran right up in his backyard. And speaking of doing battle in his backyard, we're sending in the Zealot patrol here, taking out a couple of, or just attempting to take out a barracks. And actually that Nexus was killed off before it could be canceled. Not a terrible loss, so in the late game, 300 minerals is not that big of a deal. You can see both players actually have a lot of money saved up and gas. So we are set for the sick late game TvP that, I mean, I just love watching. And +3 weapons now coming up as well. In about, you know, a minute and a half or so, once Rain finishes +3 of his own, he's not going to be at an upgrade disadvantage anymore. And that is when watching, you know, I think watching these two players do battle, especially since they're maxed and they've got tons of money and gas, is going to be awesome to watch. And we have nuclear missiles on the way. Wow, that is... I did not expect to see that. So I guess Taeja is gonna go for nuclear missiles, and yeah. All right. So prepare yourselves for nuclear warfare. I always love watching nukes. They're so fun. High sec auto tracking being researched right now. Not something you see all the time, but a lot of upgrades coming out. Terran strip weapons level 3 as well, and it looks like all those ghosts clicking up, and a bunch of EMPs coming down. But will Rain be able to hold his ground here? He's trying to keep this Nexus alive, but he's run out of energy and shields. I mean, those EMPs just went down like crazy, and the entire Protoss army has lost its shields, and defensive nukes being used, or I should say offensive nukes, to make sure that the Protoss does not try to come in here and take out this expansion, or take out the forces taking out the expansion. So there you have it. Clever uses of nuclear missiles there, basically being used in order to establish, you know, control of territory. And he's got another nuclear missile, I think. Yeah, he does. He could certainly launch another one. Oh, got feedback right there, so maybe not that guy. But he's got like 12 other ghosts that are just itching, ready to launch an all-out nuclear war. And it looks like he's going to cloak his ghosts here. Couple of EMPs, couple of feedbacks coming down, as well as storms. And this Protoss army has regenerated the majority of its shields. But a lot of the Templars are low on energy here. He's got about 5 or 6 Templar, some of them having full energy. And he's actually going to reclaim the high ground once again. And now I think the game starts to become a situation where Taeja's expanding a little bit rapidly. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bases in total, bunch of orbitals as well, mind you. And Rain has only got 1, 2, 3. He's trying to get a 4th expansion up. This one's been canceled time and time again. Now it really becomes a situation where, yeah, both players are maxed. And you know what, both players are banking resources, but Taeja is banking at a much higher rate because he's got so many more bases, and that is a serious issue for Rain. He is going to have to figure out a way to get more expansions down quickly or end this game before things get out of control. And it looks like he's going to come out to the middle of the field to toy with Taeja once again, but I don't know what kind of game Taeja's what kind of game Rain's playing. Look at this, there's a pylon here. How did that get there? And I guess the planetary just came up right now, but that planetary will take out that pylon. And there you go. So it's going to start to take it down right now. But I think that Rain would be really nicely served if he just went up to the northwest here and grabbed these free expansions. They're just waiting for him to take. Why try to keep taking this one? I guess you need this one too, because if you give up this one and you don't take it, then it just opens yourself up to losing your main and your natural. So you got to have established some type of, you know, boundary. I guess that's why he's going for it. But he has invested a lot of resources here trying to get this 4th expansion going. A couple more zealots still running in here. He's continuing to send in the rando lot. But those random zealots continue to go. Each time they cost 100 minerals, and you can see now the banked minerals have wildly swayed away from Rain. There is almost 5,000 minerals saved up for Taeja. And, you know, Taeja's got enough money to send his kids, his grandkids, and their grandkids, you know, to Starcraft college. I don't know about Rain. And here comes a nuclear missile. I mean, Taeja's got enough money to launch nuclear warfare as well. And now he's going to try to nuke down this base from the low ground. Pretty clever. And he's just going to slowly push the Protoss army back. Now, photon cannons are coming up, but the nukes continuing to come out here. And yeah, I mean, this is just classic, I guess, Taeja strategy, late game. Why not? Nuclear missiles, here they go. Boom, coming down, taking out a pylon of photon cannon. He's going to get closer and closer to the burning trees, I guess. A couple of SCVs being thrown away now as well, because Taeja just does not need them, I guess. And so there you have it. Meanwhile, Rain and Taeja posturing in the middle of the map, but Rain giving up control basically over this expansion. Because he's, oh, and he's got EMP'd as well. Absolutely brutal EMP right there. And usually in Ghost versus Templar War, Ghosts typically win out because their EMP shockwave is an area of an effect. The feedback isn't really, you know, area of effect. So here comes another nuclear missile. 2 more nukes being constructed to replenish the lost ones, and he is just gonna nuke the bejeebus out of this base. And what in the world is Rain gonna do? He is actually a little, gotta be careful here. He doesn't want to let his forces get nuked because there's another nuclear missile coming down. And there you have it, nuclear fallout, radiation cascading all over this expansion. This is very dangerous work zone. And Rain trying to make sure that this expansion does not go down. He's actually got a couple of zealots over here blocking this next expansion. Also, Rain looking like he wants to claim another expansion. Go get it, build a nexus here. What are you waiting for, Rain? And I don't know what he's waiting for, but he really should build a nexus there and fortify it with some photon cannons, get some more money going. It looks like we might have a battle here, but Rain is not, no, Taeja's not going to commit. He's going to actually pull back and play it safe. And, you know, I think Taeja's just saying to himself right now, I don't need to commit and end the game now. I've got 5,000 minerals. You know, I can sit here and play, you know, the macro game all I want. Although a couple of those ghosts right there just got feedback, very nice feedbacks from Rain. That's what you want to do. And he's going to recycle these 2 Templars into Archons. That's actually one luxury that ghosts don't have. They can't just like join hands in marriage and become an Archon. As awesome as that might be, maybe if a Xel'Naga race gets released, that's what you would see. You know, back then we would have High Templar and High Templar, or High Templar and Dark Templar, and now I guess, you know, things have gotten really liberal, so you can go High Templar, Dark Templar for any Archon. Now in the future you might see Ghost plus Templar. That would be pretty cool. But yeah, StarCraft getting more liberal by the year. And Rain here is going to try to make a defense, I guess, once Taeja is going for double expansion. I mean, he's just expanding like wild now, and I think at this point, Rain's got to realize, I got to get more expansions, man. I can't just play on 3 bases all day long. And so he is going to go for more expos. And I would imagine Taeja at some point has got to realize, hey, man, you know, this is, I mean, both players have got to realize this is going to go into a really sick late game. Both players are going for all types of expansions here. All the base on the map have almost been taken. Here comes some zealots. Gonna try to take out this planetary fortress. And that PF, I love it when it kills a zealot. Look at this. Boom! Look at how the zealot just kind of disappears into the light. But here comes Taeja's army. Oh man, Taeja attacking into this new expo. And that's why he had those Marines up there. He knew that if that Marine died, then there would be a Protoss expansion coming up. So he comes up here and takes out the expansion. No cancel. What the hell? And I don't know why Rain did not cancel his building there. He could have saved some money. And now it looks like he's bringing his Protoss army in the middle of the map. He's sent some zealots over to kill off the heart of the Terran base. He's going to try to go for the factories and the barracks here, force him to lift off, I suppose, and thereby cut off Terran reproduction. And now he's building pylons in the middle of the map. I mean, if he can get a photon cannon grid in the middle of the map, that would be pretty strong. It would be really helpful in defending against a Terran attack, and plus it would give him great map presence in the middle of the map. Some ghosts have been sent back home into cloak mode to try to defend, you know, and here comes the Terran army coming right back into the middle, and it looks like Rain is going to engage here. Both armies, if they engage, I think Rain might have the better advantage in the open field. I mean, think about it. In the open field, Terrans are weakest. They don't clump up well. They don't, you know, they can, you know, they just don't fight well in the open field. They just don't. Protoss and Zerg do, at least a little bit better. And I think, oh, wow, look at how many Colossus Rain has. He's got like 6 or 7 Colossus. He really built up his Colossus army. Now he does have to deal with quite a few Vikings. 7 Colossus versus 15 Vikings. It's gonna come down to the battle here. And I'm surprised that Taeja, Rain did not build some photon cannons. I think would have been really helpful for him to get a cannon grid up in the middle of the map, and then try to fight where his cannons are. Unfortunately, he didn't play out like that. And this is pretty epic, man. We're watching 2 Gosu players going at it. And I mean, like, what's gonna happen? Storm comes down, whittling down the Ghost health. Another Storm whiffs, though. That was a missed opportunity right there. He's gonna go back in here one more time. Gotta be careful about those Ghosts, man. They're all cloaked up. They can launch a bunch of EMPs and really neuter this Protoss army. And Rain knows it best. I mean, he's got to play this carefully. And he's gonna pull back. He's gonna pull back and play it safe. And I think that might have been a mistake, because now he's given up map control. He had an opportunity there to really solidify the center of Whirlwind under his control, but now all of a sudden Taeja's once again pushing and you know, really threatening to make an attack happen. He's got to be careful. A couple more Templar coming in. Storm comes down and does some critical damage over those Vikings mostly. A couple of observers flying in here. They are taken out almost instantly. And man, it's just a continual game of cat and mouse between these 2 players. 28,000 resources lost to 20,000. Who is going to get the last laugh here? Looking at the resources banked, once again, Taeja just has so much money saved up. And here comes a big storm coming down here, and possibly the big battle about to unleash. The Ghost continuing to stay cloaked, which of course does drain their energy just a little bit, doesn't allow them to stay in full, doesn't allow them to maintain their energy levels. And it looks like now Taeja gonna go in for it. He's taking the high ground. He's just launching EMPs all over the place. But here comes those 8 or so Colossus. They're just so powerful. They can laser down all the Marines and Marauders on the ground. But there are so many Vikings in the skies. 15 or so Vikings. The aerial fleet takes out the Colossi, and Rain has to GG. Taeja takes game 2. Wow, what a sick one that was. That was 39 minutes long, and Taeja finally able to get the last laugh. Absolutely incredible game. And we are going to go on to game 3. Hope you guys have enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in that cast. This is HD signing out.